Hooray! Okay, I think everything is working, and I can see there's already some people here. So, hello. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. So it's a bit weird because normally I do live streams as other people, so I can tell if my microphone is working. So let me know if you can't hear me. Actually, can you just let me know if you can hear me? Everything should be set up all right. But yeah, basically, I know it's been quite a while since I've done one of these. And well, Haley's out. She's gone to London for the evening. She's in Hyde Park, and kids are asleep. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to do some painting. And I've got some. Yeah, I'm working on something quite different, but I thought I figured why not just turn the camera on and have a chat as we do it like we have in the past, and obviously you can just have a chat about the projects and what everyone else is working on, and of course if anyone's got any questions, just ask. I've also managed to set it up so now I actually have two cameras going, so you can see the desk as well, and I'll show you what I'm working on, which are these. So these are Berber camel riders. These are from, as you probably guessed, Reconquer Designs, because I'm doing a lot of that stuff at the moment. These are obviously for my Crusaders, and I'm really, really looking forward to doing these. So I've got 6 to paint, and it's the first time I've ever painted camels. So I'm having a go and just sort of getting to grips with with what we've got here. Lots of camel flesh, and I didn't realize how big a camel was in comparison to a horse until I actually had these models, because they're all obviously all scaled in together, and these are significantly bigger than the horses. So yeah, I'm having some fun with these. What's quite cool now, my initial plan was actually to do a small unit of these, and my thinking was on normal bases. However, I think they're going to have to go on to slightly these bases, which are bigger than the standard ones I use, which I don't. Hang on, where is it? I have a standard one. Here we go. That's one that I normally use for cavalry, but because of the size of the camels, I need to sort of extend it. It will still be a small unit. It's still going to fall within that bracket, but I'm going to have 2 of these next to each other, full of camels. But what's quite cool is these include some casualty figures. So we've got this chap here. The camel's been pierced by like a spear or a lance or something, and then he's getting thrown off of the saddle, which is quite fun. And then there's another casualty figure over here, and that's really just the guy on there. You can see that he's been sort of hit with a spear. He's even modeled it pushing the fabric out at the back. Insane is that? So I've got 2 casualties and to go on here. So I don't know if that's predicting how these are going to act in game, but we shall see. So anyway, let's wow, it's 37 of you watching. Thank you very much for joining. Let's have a look at who we've got here. So David, good evening. Looking forward to a ramble. You're painting some 28mm gallow glass for your Wars of the Roses army. What leader have you gone with, or what Irish lord have you gone for? The Yorkist ones, or have you gone for one of the Lancastrian chaps? Was it Ormond? To the chap who was at Mortimer's Cross. Walkabout Games, hello, dude. How you're doing? Well. Gwindor, how are you doing, dude? I need to reply to you, and I will. I promise. It's just been a bit hectic. Steve, it's been a long time. It has been a long time. I thought it was only just before we moved, but I think it was actually closer. It was just after Christmas. You're doing your 6mm Normans for the first Crusade. You need to get some 6mm camels, dude. Get some of them in there. Bigger City, hello, dude. Look, tonight I've got myself a nice beer, and there's my Adepticon glass, so thank you very much. Oh dear, that's good. You're looking at another epic ECW strip, so we're working on some Infinity models. I had loads of Infinity stuff. I had the Hack Islam, and I liked all the bikes that they had, so I had loads of the bikers. I thought they were really, really cool. That was after they changed from being like on unicycles. Well, I won some 1 to 700 World War II ships, and cleaning some Reconquer minis. Which Reconquer minis are you cleaning, dude? Nick Games, hello, dude. How you doing? Lionheart, nice to see you, buddy. Andrew JF, Mark Forsyth, evening wife's out to enjoy me. Yeah, I know. I've got exactly the same. So not only is she out tonight, she's also out next Wednesday because she's at Wimbledon. So I've got a couple of evenings of hopefully just, well, to be fair, I'm probably going to have to do some work, but I should be able to get some decent amount of painting done. Mortzik, how you doing? Killer Crease Man, hello, dude. How you doing? Bartos, hey mate, just checking in for a bit before you have to disappear. Well, thank you very much for just popping in. Lovely to see you. Philip Toon, how you doing, dude? Robin Rose Hobden. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, good. You can hear me. Let's scroll down. You're gonna need me to keep Vicky. You're gonna need to keep me going this for 6 hours. That'll take me through the rest of my work shift. I've done about 6 hours, maybe two. Maybe two. I want to see how far I can actually get with these camels tonight. It'd be really nice if I could have them done by Monday. Just because I know Dom would have these all knocked out in an evening. So it'd be quite nice to have something done. What else have we got? You need some of these for your Saracen army. Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Cal. How you doing, dude? I hope you're well. Oh, hello, Robin. Nice camels. They will be, but I'm sure you're going to have some heavy cavalry to take them. Double dip. Hello, dude. Yes, they probably have got the hump. Oh dear. Yorkist, you're doing the Yorkist ones. Good man. Good man. Mortzik, no hobbying tonight. Just washed yourself in gasoline fixing a friend's moped. You smell good though. Portman, you're working on what's this Bound Creek Forces this weekend? Major Clanner, hi, I'm painting up with some 20mm battle group. I started. Do you know what? I was working at Duxford, the Imperial War Museum in Duxford this week, and I started. Robin will tell you in the chat, and I'm sure some of the others can tell you, I started questioning, if anything's going to get you to do a project, it's been exposed to something for a while. And every time I'd look up, there'd be a different tank rolling past, or there'd be a different plane. Planes I'm not mad interested in, but the tanks could definitely do it for me. And I did start looking at various 20mm stuff, and then had to stop myself and remember that I had these camels at home to get on with. Tabletop Psychic, you're doing 6mm Crusades too. You're inspired by this channel, and you and your friend are going down the rabbit hole. You're on the Normans, and your friend is doing the Seljuks. Remember, you can also get someone in there with the Byzantines as well. Get someone in there with the Byzantines, because then you can have the Normans against the Byzantines as well. It's just like a little sort of like subplot, or you can play the Byzantines against the Seljuks, which is also quite cool. So yeah, there's plenty going on. Steve, if you want to see Dom painting some Infinity models, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. John, you're working on some Cossacks. Interesting, nice one. Robin, who said 20mm battle group, the scale of kings. That's debatable. Absolutely debatable. But I know you like it. Yeah, I have Killer Cruise. If I've seen the Epic Heresy preview today, yeah, I have. I am interested in it. I'm more interested in it, but it's the Heresy, because I really enjoy the Horus Heresy books. So if there's anything that could convince me to do that, it's the fact they put in Horus Heresy. I mean, it would be quite fun to have little Diddy Primarchs running around, although I guess some of them by that point, well, later in the books aren't that Diddy. But like with all things, I'd like to see how much they plan on supporting it. Is it going to be one of their specialist games where it gets a release every few months? And it is interesting. I kind of think potentially that scale kind of lends itself to the whole Horus Heresy thing a little bit more than maybe the 28mm release did. I don't know. What do you think? It's I know a lot of the battles in 40k are meant to be quite big and quite sweeping, but certainly if you read the Horus Heresy novels, some of the big actions that take place in that, to be able to recreate that would be quite cool. I have been texting a few people, various people, and I know that some people are very, very excited. But it's releasing quite soon as well, isn't it? I think it's coming out. Is it July? Did it say July? Or am I just making that up? Maybe. I've got so many things to work on. I don't know if I could take on that. I've got too many camels. I need more camels. I've got Zulus to paint. More Wars of the Roses stuff, and of course I've got miniatures, which are my miniatures, which I've got to finish sorting out, which are nearly ready to go. So I'm using, what kind of paint is this? This is Agros Dunes, this GW paint. I had been using the Skeleton Horde, this one, but it's just a little bit lighter. And this one's just got a little bit more sort of yellow sort of to it. And it just seems to be going on a bit better for what I want from my camels. I also don't want, if I've got something, because I use quite a lot of tan colors in my painting for my Crusaders, for Crusade project rather. So I don't want too many things the same color. So I picked up this Agros Dunes, and it's I'm actually quite impressed by it. I didn't pick it up originally because I thought it would be too much like Skeleton Horde, but no, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So how is everybody doing? How's everyone's weekend at the moment? And presumably, if you're watching this, you've managed to get some time away, or you're painting. Oh, there's a lot of little. He's even done the folds on the skin on the neck. It's crazy. Let me just get this guy done, and then I'll catch up with the comments, assuming there are some. Remember, guys, if you're watching, feel free to post up a comment, even if you're just watching and you haven't before. Say hi. Let us know what you're working on. And if this is your first time ever catching a live stream, oh god, oops. If this is your first time ever catching a live, it's an irregular live stream, because I do the PCP every Monday, and I wouldn't be able to commit to a live stream every week. So Shaken and Disordered is a irregular live stream, which is essentially when Haley's gone out and I want to do some painting and I can switch the camera on. But we've been really busy recently with house moves and all this kind of stuff, so I haven't really been able to do one. Or if I can, I want to be able to turn the camera on for a decent amount of time, not just for half an hour. There we go. So that's getting those base coats down on him. Let's have a little look at what people are saying in the chat. Let's have a little look. Oh wow. Where are we? Your paint, Double Dip is painting some assorted 40k models to use in Stargrave. Good shout. Stargrave is a great game. Lionheart, you're currently working on some French naps, and also we've got some household cavalry being worked on. And you know what? I was so happy when I finished. Well, to be fair, I planned on doing all 3 household units, and I only did 2 in the end because I just broke with cavalry. But painting stuff like this, the camels, I'm fine with. I'm painting Norman cavalry, and it's just Napoleonic cavalry. It just does my head in. I don't know why. Mark, will I be getting some of the new Vitric crossbowmen? Hopefully, yeah. I'd like to. I'd like to, and maybe get a couple of units. I've got 1 unit already, which is the Reconquer stuff, but they're very unique, and I wouldn't really want to have the same models twice. So yeah, I imagine I will. I'll pick them up. Steve, you've got the Bacchus Byzantine miniature project next up. Fantastic. Cal, you're working on some 28mm Napoleonic sailors. Excellent. Naval Brigade. You know, I've just done that stuff. I mean, okay, admittedly, it's 60 years later, but Colin. Hey, hello, how you doing, dude? Hi, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm currently debating if you should go to work on your 6mm W2 Pacific Forces or 15mm US planes. Well, I'm currently having a bit of a thing for the on sort of my viewing thing for 19th century stuff. So my vote would be for US Planes Wars. US Planes Wars. Lots of nice 30. Yeah, there is a lot of epic stuff out there. I was having a little look off the back of that announcement. Andrew, you just started work on a Battle of Warringen. Walkabout. You just put Nijori's Mountain Knights on the build plate. You love the Reconquer minis. Yeah, I saw that. The July release was out. He's got the bridge. the knights. He's done like multiple ones, hasn't he? You can have like an 11th century one, a 12th century one, even a 15th century one. Then you've got the sort of infiltrating party for I think it was Sancho that he said it was, but for the crusading purposes, they'd be brilliant, because there was loads of times where people who like snuck into castles, and Antioch Bohemond like climbed up a tower and snuck in, and of course to climb up the tower, he's released a lot of the ladder stuff, so that's ace as well. And he's got his little fantasy thing. Have you seen that? That's going to be hard to ignore. Have I ever been to the Bovington? No, I've never been. And do you know what? I've driven past it so many times, but I've never been. It's just one of those places I've never stopped. I do want to go, but I'd want to go on one of their tank days. Like, well, basically when they've got the Tiger going. Is it Tiger 131 or 313? 131. I'd like to see that. Killer Creasman. Yeah, you already own a lot of Adeptus Titanicus. Yeah, it's I did just see actually that the stuff is compatible, isn't it? So they haven't done a scale creep or a scale change, which you know, good. They shouldn't. Hello, Dom. How are you? We're talking about you. I hope you're well. What are you painting? Are you in the boot room, or are you on the kitchen table or living room table? What's going on? What project are you going to have done by Monday? Mark, how you doing, dude? You're lying on the couch recovering from mowing. He's mowing the grass. Only 35 here in South Texas, but still knackered, dude. I've started looking a lot into sort of into Texas, because I'm right. So I watched the Alamo the other day. Well, first of all, I watched I'd never actually seen the John Wayne one, and that was on TV, so I watched that. And then I rewatched the one with Billy Bob Thornton and that in it, and then I decided to read a little bit more about Santa Anna, because all I knew about Santa Anna came from those films and Zorro. So that's all I knew about Santa Anna, apart from the nickname of the Napoleon of the West. And I started reading more about the sort of American-Mexican War and Texas, and I never actually appreciated how big sort of like the landmass that Mexico originally had, and all of the back and forth there. So I've gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole there. That could be dangerous. That could be very, very dangerous. But yeah, really, really interesting. Dean Goldsmith, how you doing, dude? Hi, I've only been following you since fairly recently. You stumbled across my first Crusade videos and you love it. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. So hopefully you'll like what I'm doing here. These camel riders. No, welcome along. Thank you for taking the time to check it out and to comment. First Crusade, funny enough, I was having a chat with Robin. He'll concur, hopefully, in the chat that, you know, we're going to get our saga game in. We just have our diaries haven't quite aligned recently to be able to do anything. So we're going to get our saga game in, finish off our little saga campaign, our little link battles there between I would say between our warring warlords, but since both of them have died, it's really between like our families, this little feud that we've got going on. And then the plan, among other things, would be to do the first Crusade and actually get a bit of a narrative campaign going. And we've got a rough idea of how we'll do it, and have a bit of a story behind it. But we thought it would be kind of fun, not giving too much away, but to sort of follow the Crusade as it moves from say Constantinople, and actually sort of, you know, you sort of chart the progress of it as it makes its way towards sort of Jerusalem and Antioch and other places, and those events that happen in and around. So when like the Crusaders are starving, and which admittedly is a lot of the time, you know, you could have some, you know, special rules in place to affect everybody. So yeah, hopefully you'll see one of those coming. I've got actually, those of you who follow the channel, if you follow my sort of things like Instagram and Facebook, you might have seen me post up the command base that I just completed for the Crusade. And I actually filmed a video sort of start to finish of how I went about doing it, and I filmed every single part of it. But because there's 3 guys on the base and they're all painted differently, there's a lot of footage, and I'm currently going through it and just editing it into sort of I guess I suppose it is a tutorial in a way, because I've said how I've done it. I've gone through the paints I've used and all of that, but I've also just really sort of how I go about it and sort of like the thoughts behind it. So so I'm currently working on that. I've nearly got all of the footage edited, but once you've got the footage done, you've then got to for that video anyway. So you don't have to, but the way I do them is there's a voiceover for it that I've got to record, and then and make sure that all edits together nicely, and so hopefully that will be out. It might not be out this week. I've got an awful lot of work to do this week. Got a big some big things to sort out for work, but hopefully it'll be out maybe at the weekend or just after. So so we'll see where we are. Right, I think this camel is nearly there. This is the really unlucky chap who's been spitted by a javelin or a lance of some description. Oh God. These camels are so big. This is some of the biggest models I've painted in quite a long time. There we go. Have I missed anything? Anyone see anything? Yep. There we go. In terms of color schemes for these, all I've done is just look at some pictures of some camels. That's it. I'm just going with sort of a real tan look. I'm not trying to do anything fancy with them and go off on tangents. And for the guys on their backs, I'm just going to follow the same sort of method that I use for all of my other sort of Arabic forces, and I'll be using some bright colors, and I'll be mixing in sort of mixing them up a little bit just to get some nice variation. I think the main blocks of color are going to be here on the saddle cloths, if that's what you call them on a camel. I'm not sure. All of the ropes I will do in a sort of a normal rope color, but all of these tassels have as nice blues and purples and pinks, have a bit of color on it. I may even try and do some kind of geometric designs on there. Let's just let's have a little catch up. What's it? I finished your OPC entry yesterday. Nice to do some winter stuff in the summer heat. Yeah, but did it actually cool you down? Dom's working on Spanish Napoleonics. Is that for you doing that up for sharp practice, or is that I can't remember. I get so lost with all your various Napoleonic things. Is that for black powder, or how are you doing those ones? I know you're probably going to tell us on Monday anyway, so if it don't worry about it. Not. Can I recommend one book? Oh dear, one book on the Wars of the Roses that covers livery and heraldry. Right. So you're a bit stumped there, because there isn't really one book that covers both, because livery and heraldry are different things. There is a book called Standards, Badges, and Livery in the Wars of the Roses that the Lance and Longbow Society put out. Gil, is it Gil? Yeah, that's worth having a look at. That has a good gazetteer of all of the major players in there, and it does tell you can usually work out what the livery colors are from the standard, because you'll see a lot of the fishtail, swallowtail standards are, say, blue and white, red and murrey, and they're generally the colors then that the person would wear, with the top color on the standard being the color that you wear on the right. So that's worth looking at. Everything else is just generally is quite conjectural, but you can find some decent lists online. If you need it, give me an email. I've taken wherever I find out the colors. The saddest I am, I have an Excel spreadsheet which my wife set up, because I can't really use Excel, and I add things onto that. So I hope that helps. But definitely that one from the Lance and Longbow Society is worth checking out. Yes, I will indeed. So guys, if you haven't before, go over and check out Brush and Quill's YouTube channel. Cal, he's taken part in the marathon, and he's raising money for a really good cause. So head over there and take a look at that. So if you haven't checked out his channel, go over there. There's plenty of good content, and we will get our game, Cal. one day we're going to get this bloody thing sorted one way or another. The good news is now I have a really big house, so I can shuffle children off to a completely different part of the house. Okay. Mike Jones, Mike, perhaps you could touch on how you highlight your red uniform colors. I know you mentioned this on Monday podcast recently and used 4 different shades. Do you mean on my Anglo Zulu War? So what I do is very similar to what I have for these guys here, which is I pre-shade all my models. I always, especially for the Zulu War and for the Crusades, I'm doing, because I imagine sort of quite harsh conditions. I like to have really, really high contrasting colors. So big areas of shadow. So what I do is I spray the bottom half of the model completely black, and then hit it sort of from this direction, as you can see under here, with black. So xenophore highlighting, basically. And then I go all around from 45 degrees and straight down with pure white. And I use the what are they, color forge paints. For the models, for the Zulu War stuff, I use Blood Angels Red. I paint Blood Angels Red over all of it, and then did I hit it? Yes, I use Strong Tone. Did I use Strong Tone? I think I used Strong Tone. Did I? I might have used Strong Tone on it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends if I can see it and it's nearby. So I used Strong Tone, and then I highlight up with flesh colors and oranges. And the orange I like to use to highlight my red is this color here, to give it that kind of faded look. So this is Jokerero, that color, Jokero orange. And I slowly mix in a couple of layers of that. And then at the end of it, as if you watch a lot of my videos, you know, I dry brush everything with a really light dry brush of deck tan, which just adds a kind of faded look. And I just prefer that look for my minis. So yeah, I hope that helps. Let's see. Oh God, it's just jumping around. Robin, you're painting 1 to 3,000 ships again. Super Chippy, how you doing, dude? You're cracking open a beer and celebrating. You just finished 20 mil of Brunswick Hussars. Congrats! If anyone who finishes any Hussars deserves a pint. Deserves a pint. Well done. Tom's in the living room because Mrs. is watching crap. I haven't got that tonight. Oh, Haley's watching crap. It's just it's in Hyde Park. Dandy, it's a nice Spanish one. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Dom. Yeah, cheers, guys. If you like what you see, then yeah, hit the like button. It does help the channel, and it lets me know that you guys like the content. Robin, you're up for shut up, Robin. Stop it. I was already on the First Core website looking at the minis that Sean had painted. I was off of it very, very quickly. Jeremy, how you doing, dude? What are you painting up? US bolt action infantry. Excellent. I haven't looked at the V&V camel riders. I looked at their Varangian Guard, but there wasn't enough variety, so I bought that box of Fireforge ones and then really, really regretted it. Maybe that's something I could do with my minis. I need some Varangian Guard, more Varangian Guard. Oh no, I've dropped one, but mine didn't break. I dropped mine from this desk and it bounced across the floor, but it didn't break. So I was quite pleased about that. It means I've chosen a good resin. I was quite happy about that. Excellent. Mark, being in San Antonio, I always take visits to the Alamo, where most folks seem to quickly end up in the nearby Hooters. There's a Hooters nearby. My first thing about the Alamo that I knew was just the whole thing about Ozzy Osbourne, because I had an issue of Kerrang, I think it was, when I was little, and that was the interview. And that's, I think, before I actually knew about the Alamo. This would have been when I was like 9, probably like 10, 11, something like that. And before I kind of really knew anything about the Alamo, I just knew that Ozzy Osbourne had done something deeply disrespectful there. If it's Hyde Park, it's expensive crap. Yeah, but it keeps her happy. It keeps her happy. Bartos, you've been working. I've seen your Barons. I saw your Barons War post today. You've got an Ultramare tournament event pack for BritCon. Interesting. I do keep looking at it. I do keep looking at Barons War. I mean, that would be the next smaller project. But I do kind of in my head, I wonder, is it too close to Saga? I could just use my Saga stuff and do that. But then I haven't got anything from the Barons War period. I know that sounds a bit crazy, because these Normans are too early for what I'm doing, the Crusade stuff. I would want to set it a little bit later, around the time of Simon de Montfort and what happened afterwards, with the Monteforians and this kind of whole guerrilla war, that was set up afterwards. It's a really, really good book about that. You should take it out, because there's some really cool stuff that happened nearby to where I live. So if you know East Anglia, we have the well, it's Ely, otherwise known as the Isle of Ely, and a bit like Hereward the Wake. This guy, I can't remember which of the Monteforians it was, went and hid out in Ely, and basically had guerrilla warfare against the king and his son Edward, and they set the Thens on fire. Which, if you've seen, I mean, the Thens are bleak. It is very, very bleak. So that would have been that'd be a really cool battlefield to do, and yeah, it'd be very, very cool. Right, let's have a look at what I'm going to do here. Right, let's get some of these saddlecloths done. So I'm going to use Blood Angels Red, and I'm going to use this straight out of the pot. Just get that on. Like everything I do, I use the contrast paints to kind of do all of my sort of base coating, as it were. And then I'll work up from there. So this red here, I'll probably do exactly the same as I just described for my my uniforms for my British. I'll probably do the same for these, to give it that nice sort of faded look. And I'm looking at these. That's quite a big expanse of red. So I should probably sort out some sort of pattern down the side. Nothing too complicated, either just some dots or just some simple lines, just to form something geometric, just something interesting, just to catch the eye. Again, I'm going to say again, I don't think I actually mentioned it, but the bases for these guys will just be pretty straightforward, along the same kind of thing, lines that I've done already for the Crusaders. But when I've got this many models on the base and they're quite big, I try not to go overboard with tufts and bits of rock and things like that, because I just don't want it. It just looks too crowded. The same on command bases. If you've got loads of minis on a command base, sometimes less is more when it comes to actually setting things out. You can make a base look nice and realistic, I think, but if you overdo it, the eye doesn't really know where to look. It can all just look a bit confusing. Of course, I did do that massive Warwick base that had like 12 minis on it, but the base itself was pretty straightforward. Okay, there we go. Some nice solid red. Oh, what color should we have next? Blue. Let's just go through the colors as they come out. I haven't really got a plan here. Ultramarines blue. Where are you? This is the one I used on my naval brigade. So there we go. Ely is the UK smallest. Is it a city? Does it count as a city? We kind of take the mickey out of Ely around here. I don't know. Is it a city? Probably is, because it's got a cathedral. I now live in Bury St Edmunds, and the abbey here was always at odds with the one in Ely. But I do go there quite a lot. You love local history aspects, Dean. I'd love to do the first Battle of Northampton. That would be cool. Do you mean the War of the Roses Battle of Northampton? If you mean that one, that's a very cool battle. That's the battle that. Before the battle, Warwick has this papal legate, Capini, who I've done a video on him. If you haven't seen it, if you go and check out from my Wars of the Roses videos, my Kingmaker ones, you'll find one on Capini, one of my history videos. And Capini, essentially, he was sent over by the Pope to raise troops for a crusade, and it would actually have ended up being a crusade that Vlad Tepes, as in Dracula, was involved in, which I thought might be a really good way of getting Dracula into my War of the Roses forces, and have him looking like Gary Oldman did at the start of the Francis Ford Coppola film. Anyway, Capini ended up kind of getting dragged into things and started influencing things and trying to he basically forgot what his mission was and ended up siding with the Yorkists. So they had this pet papal legate, and before the battle, sorry if you know all this, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to share it because I love it. Before the Battle of Northampton at St Eleanor's Cross, which overlooked the Lancastrian camp, the papal legate basically came out and he excommunicated the entire Lancastrian army, which is nuts. He basically, that's the army of the king, and he excommunicated them, which also means that after the battle, which the Lancastrians did lose and lost quickly and very, very convincingly, that they wouldn't have been, if you follow typical medieval tradition for people who have been excommunicated and those kind of things, they wouldn't have been buried. And it has been left out. And if you look at where the Battle of Northampton took place, that's a vast area of land. But also the effect that must have had on the soldiers. They not only they're fighting for the king, but they've been excommunicated, and they've got the papal legate, because he also raised the papal banner as well. Ultimately, it didn't go too well for him in the end. I think when things sort of swung the Lancastrian way, when the Duke of York died, he did a runner back to Italy, and the Pope wasn't very happy with what he'd done, and I think he ended up just like dying in an abbey somewhere in northern Italy, and sort of no one really remembers him. But I made a little model of him. I made a little base of him. Never used him. And I need to use him in a game. I even did some little mercenaries because he travelled all the way across Europe, and I was like, there's no way that a papal legate's going to travel without some guards. So I did some sort of Italian style infantry, and this guy from Steelfist Miniatures, fully armored, as like a bodyguard. I'd have to do that. Major Clang, Ely, Cromwell country. Yep. It is. But as a royalist player, and I mean, they actually, I think the Cromwell Museum actually does sell pike and shot stuff. It did the last time I was in there. Local history is the only thing that would make me do World War II. Low stuff in the command probably it's more big memorial to it here. You in Lowestoft, dude? I thought you were in Luton. I'm getting confused. I was in Lowestoft recently. Okay, so it wasn't that one. Like Seconds Baron's War. Oh, there you go. Well, look, there you go. I've just gone on about the Wars of the Roses. See any link, and I'll go on about it. Sorry, I'll shut up now. All right, let's get this guy done. This is really cool. The saddle here came as a separate piece, and you have to angle it, and all these reins came separate as well. But what amazes me with his sculpting is how well he can sort of sort out where pieces are going to go so they fit just right, and he's done that with because of course the guy who sculpts these miniatures has sculpted my minis, the Ragged Staff minis that are soon to be coming out. He's done those, and I've learned so much about the way the process and looking at how he works is so interesting. But the way that any sculptor is able to visualize things is just amazing. It really, really is. Right, let's get this on here. I am putting this on quite thick, and that's because I want it to stand out. Normally, if this was sort of smaller or a smaller area, I wouldn't, but I'm just going to drag all that paint down. And the second camera seems to be working all right. I have tried to do this in the past, and it's always gone wrong. But I tried a different way of doing it today, and also setting things up a little bit differently. Let me know what you think of the new sort of layout with the little me in the corner and the paint table in the foreground, as it were. There we go. Excellent. All right, blue done. Purple, the color of wealth. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, let's use Magos purple. All right, Dom. All right. I don't. You say that there was some poor digger driver this week made the mistake of talking about Richard III. By the end of it, he didn't want to know. I think I crushed anything that he wanted to talk about. Mark, what 3D printer do I have? I have a Anycubic Mono X6K printer, and I use Soritex Navy ABS-like resin. That's quite a mouthful, but I have the Anycubic 6K printer, basically because I looked at the 8K. And this whole idea of 4K, 8K, 6K, I mean, it's irrelevant because it all depends on the size of the screen. The screen is what's important. So it's a number of microns that you're going to get. And I looked at the 6K and then I looked at the 8K, and the difference was so negligible that I just honestly, and the price difference was insane. So I just thought, well, I'll just go with the 6K. Because also at the time, this was the first one I bought. I didn't. Sorry, I'm going like this. It sits just here, and I didn't know if I was going to get on with it. So I did that. So if I upgrade, then I may go to an 8K. But the main reason I do that is to get one with a bigger screen and a slightly bigger screen to get the same level of quality I've got now, but with a bigger build plate. Because I mean, I can fit. How many can I fit? If I was just doing 28mm miniatures, single pose with no sort of extras or anything, I could probably get 20 to 24 miniatures off at a time. I just did 12 spiders, giant spiders, because we're going to be playing Rangers of Shadow Deep, and it's a great. You can just source everything you need on a 3D printer. So I've got some giant spiders to work on. So I've got 12 of them on there. Is there anyone in the UK there wasn't a battle? Wisbeach? No one wants Wisbeach, do they? I'm going to tell me there was a battle there now. There's a battle until you get out of it. I don't know. Dean, you're also not far from Naseby. If you're not far from Naseby, you've got so many that are nearly there. Oi! One trick pony, Tom. Oh, I'm hurt. Don't worry, I can wax lyrical about a couple of things, but I'll keep that. Lionheart, you're looking forward to those miniatures. Are you planning on making miniatures for other periods? Yes. It has crossed my mind, mainly because I've sort of seen things and gone, oh, it'd be really fun to have this for this project. So I would really like, for example, some Zulu models who are doing something a little bit more dynamic than the ones we've got. So some who are maybe sort of doing some leaping or some sort of actual sort of thrusting with the spears or something cool with the shields. Same with the British infantry, to have people receiving the attack. I thought about for the Crusader period, the natter throwers, the Greek fire throwers, the fire pots. Gripping Beast makes some, Perry makes some, but they're all just kind of, there's nothing wrong with them at all, but they're all just sort of standing there. But then how many ways are to do it? But knowing what Macross can do and what other 3D sculptors can do, yeah, it does. It just opens it up. But as my main love and the subject I know the most about, as has just been pointed out, is the Wars of the Roses. And therefore, if I did anything, I would want things to be as historically accurate as possible. Once we start getting into periods, I didn't like, for example, even though I love the Napoleonic period, I couldn't bring myself to do anything for it because I don't know I can't research it. Whereas I've got loads of research up there that when I contact, when I have the designs for the miniatures that I can send. I mean, my computer I've got an external hard drive just filled with references, with documents, with all sorts of things, pictures from the British Library, all sorts, which I bombard the poor guy with when I come up with the designs. So maybe Brush and Quill, what platform are you streaming this via? It's through StreamYard. It's what we use for the Plastic Crack podcast as well. I'm just using that, but you can put multiple profiles on it when you set it up. So we have the PCP one, which has all our, for example, logos and backgrounds and intros saved. And then I have mine on here, which just has my simple setup here, because obviously I don't use it anywhere near as much. So it's worth doing. You get the free version, but it's watermarked. And then I think it's £40 a month otherwise. Philip, you're doing the Earl of Northampton for your ECW regiment. Infantry, cavalry, and dragoons. I did think about Northampton. They were green, weren't they? Green coats. Oh, the abuse I'm getting off of Dom and Dom. Ducks Brit. What figures am I producing, and how will you get to know about their release? Right. So basically, I commissioned some miniatures to be sculpted for the Wars of the Roses period by Matt Cross from Reconquer Designs, because I wanted some more dynamic looking figures for. In fact, hang on a minute. I did upload, so I might come up so I can show you. They're going to be released. I'm waiting for one more miniature, and I need to. And then I've set up a Etsy store, and they're under a different moniker, which is called Ragged Staff Miniatures. Ragged Staff being the symbol of the Earl of Warwick. And there'll be an Etsy. I'll be doing an announcement. I'll be doing a video on the channel about it, just talking about why I did it. Now I've done it because I just thought it'd be a bit of fun, really. I don't know if it's going to be successful. I'm not really doing this because I want to make like money on it, and any money I do make out of it, I just plan on putting into just sculpting different miniatures. I can't sculpt. I tried. I can't. I can barely. I did a mushroom for a base once, and even that looked comical. But to give you an example, so this is one of them. This is the Wars of the Roses, or late 15th century captain of archers. So this is based on the armor is based on an example from the Royal Armouries in Leeds. It's a Brigadine. It's a free rivet one, and a lot of the models that you'll see, you just can't get that detail. But Matt Ross is such a good sculptor. He's gone on there. So that's based on the example in the Royal Armouries. The other thing I want to do with this model is wearing a livery bend, which is the sash that comes across it, because no Wars of the Roses miniatures or 15th century miniatures that I've seen have this on them, but it's now believed that this was a common way of depicting units other than just livery coats. This was quicker to make. So that would have been in the colours of the Lord that they were serving. He's got a chain shirt, wrist guard. He's got a Wakefield type falcon at his side, and a buckler, and he comes with a bow. And this is one that Mike Peters has painted him up. So he's in the service of the Earl of Northumberland. There, his colours there. And then because I've got some different weapons that are coming out, Mike Peters, who's painted one up as well, he did this look, and he gave him a this is his own livery he's come up with, the black and yellow with the red heart. It's a really cool one. He gave him a bill hook. So there's that guy. There's this one here who I've dubbed the Knight Banneret, basically going for it. He comes in two versions. He either comes with a helmet or without a helmet. And again, there's you can see here, he comes with a poleaxe, and that poleaxe is based off an example, again, in the Royal Armouries. And the armour is based off a tomb effigy in Yorkshire. So there he is without a helmet. Not that you probably really go into war without a helmet, but it's nice to have the option. And there he is with a helmet on. And then the other miniature is this guy is a standard bearer. This was the first one I had done, actually, and I just wanted a standard bearer doing something a little bit more dynamic than just standing. So he's going forward, and but what's cool with this guy is you can put the banner in either hand. So like Mike's done here, you can put the banner in that hand, and you can kind of angle it either straight up or leaning back over the shoulder. He comes with a warhammer. I like warhammers, and I don't think we see enough of them. Or you can do it in the other hand, like this guy, and just have him sort of lead, follow me, lads. So they're the first ones, and they're all going to be on there, and I've got loads of plans for other ones that I'd want to do. So I hope that answers some questions, but it'll be on the channel. And if you're in the Plastic Crack Podcast Facebook group, there'll probably be an announcement on there. But they're in a few other groups as well. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a little announcement there, but it's only an Etsy store. It's only a thing that I'm doing. I'm not looking to set up some kind of industry. It's a little cottage thing that I just want to sort of do, and I'll produce, and then I'll send out. So it'll all be based from here. And if it doesn't work, hey, what does it matter? I've got 4 really nice looking minis for my army. What have we got here? You want some more Napoleonic Marines? Oh, Vicar, all slagging aside, Mike. Those modules actually missing. Get at least I can give you money. All slagging aside. Oh dear. Look, and I'm still drinking out your glass. I'm surprised you haven't poisoned it. What have we got here? He got a Zulu project as well, Lionheart. When will we see more Test of Honor? Do you know, it's really funny. We were having a chat about that yesterday. Test of Honor is the next one that me and Haley will play when we have the time to do it. Test of Honor is a great game. I'm hoping to get some more sort of regular games on sort of Friday nights. Things are a little bit easier to film battle reports here because we're in a bigger house and everything's separate. When I couldn't really do battle reports before, because where I played my games, which was in my dining room, it was right next to the living room. It was open plan, so if the kids are in there and the TV on, there's just no chance. Well, also your miniatures will probably get slaughtered. So hopefully there'll be some Test of Honor in the coming months. Hello, Andy, dude. I hope you're doing well. That's fine, absolutely fine as a Frenchman. You're tempted to buy them just as display figures. I've been playing around with scales as well. I might be doing some 54mm ones as well. Steve Martin, as I said, you need to hurry up and release them. Yeah, well, hopefully it will be, if not this week, because I've got a massive report to write. It'll be next week. Are they metal? No, they are not. They're resin. They're the ABS resin. They're 3D printed, but they're very flexible. Like I just said, they're printed from the same stuff as these that I've done these in, and I just dropped this on the. Is it this one? Yeah, it was this one. I dropped this on the floor, and it bounced. It was absolutely fine. So no, they're 3D prints. You wouldn't mind seeing a battle report of Test of Resolve. It is on my list to do. There's just lots of other games that I want to play as well. Have I ever thought about ancient miniatures? I thought about them. I just haven't done anything. Andy, shipping to EU or Ireland, you could pick them up at CrackCon. Say, yeah, you can pick up at CrackCon, and they'll ship abroad. They'll ship abroad. It's like I said, it's just through Etsy that I'll be doing. Them. Philip says Northampton green coats, John Gale grey coats, grey padded Northampton's body for Derby in retaliation for the royalist reason Lando captured Hopton Heath. So I should do some of them. That would be cool. That'd be cool to have. Right, let's get some more paint on my camels, and let's have a. There's quite a few. There's 54 of you in here. Thank you. It's choosing to spend your Saturday night here, painting and hanging out. I've currently found my new. I'm gonna have to get my new favorite contrast paint on these in a minute. I knew nothing about it, and it's now my favorite paint. It's called, where is it? Is it Deadly Visage, Gruesome Visage, Horrible Visage? What's it called? Dreadful Visage. This paint here, which is sort of like an alternative to the grey shade of so Apothecary White gives you a nice sort of grey shade to your white colours. The Dreadful Visage gives you Visage gives you gives it a slightly purplish tone, so it's really good for doing sort of zombie skin, but also really good at just doing plain whites. The command base I just did, if you've seen that, if you haven't, and if you just have a look at the community tab, you will see a post up that I put up a couple of days ago, sorry. You can see them on there, but all the whites on that were done with it, because I just found that the Apothecary White just kind of made it a little bit too grey for my liking. Even sort of, if I watered it down a bit with the contrast medium, just didn't seem to. I just was having trouble with it, and the sort of second wave of contrast paints has got some really interesting colours in it. What now? We've done purple. Ooh, what are we going to do now? This is a really good colour. I think this has actually been rebranded as a contrast paint now, but I picked this up And this was a technical paint, and it's Nighthawk Gloom, and this is a lovely blue, really nice color. Really like using this this sort of turquoisey blue. I think this was essentially this and Hex-Ray Flame were almost like their prototypes for how contrast paints were going to work, because they came out, I think, about a year before. They came out about the same time as they released the Nighthawks. Funnily enough, it's why it's called Nighthawk Gloom, I guess. And everyone was, you know, you'd paint them, your ghosts up with this, and it works the way that the contrast paints work, you know, and then you just sort of dry brush them, and you end up with this really nice effect. You see what I mean here? Look, this is a really big sort of space, and so if I don't put any patterns or anything on it, it's going to be really stark and stand out. Well, I haven't had a phone call from Hayley, so I assume that she's having a good time. I did see that she'd bought a can of wine that had run her a pretty penny. So I don't know how good a time she's going to be having, because she might not be able to afford it. All right, let's just get these details. There we go. I try to avoid, you know, like the ropes and that, but it's not the end of the world if you hit them. You can easily sort of go over things and pick them out. It's really easy. What next? Yellow. Let's go with some yellow. Iandan yellow. Here we go. Now, I bought this yellow. Now, if you want a flat yellow, you're looking to just do some yellow. This is amazing, this color. This just comes out block yellow, but it doesn't have any kind of shading to it, which is what the contrasts are good with. So what I would do is I would base things in this and then lightly go over them with that. But I want to use this straight at the moment. I'll catch up. What I'll do, if it's okay with you guys, I've just got 2 more of these saddle cloths to get done. So I'm going to get them done, and then we'll catch up with the comments, and we'll see where we are at. I've decided to put some little shields on these. If you saw my heavy infantry unit that I did recently, they had these shields. So I've got more of them. I print off a lot of shields, and actually it's not just printing. I have loads of the Victrix Norman shields already made up with the shield transfers on them, so I can just pick them out. But these guys have their own shields, these little sort of like almost bucklers. But I think to kind of tie them in with the armor that I've done so far, I'm going to put these on. So these will sort of sit on here, and these little tassels will be flying out, and I think that will look quite cool. So I've got those to add on a little later. I was using this one straight out the pot because it's quite a thin color already. I'm just going to drag it to where I need it, really. Ooh. I don't know if there were actually any sort of camel riders. I think they're more of a Berber thing than a Seljuk thing or a Fatimid thing. But those of you who've watched my videos, especially the last one, I don't really care. I think it's entirely feasible. In fact, we know that there were mercenary groups that worked with the Seljuks or with the Fatimids. So who said that a little unit of camel riders didn't end up in these battles? There must have been countless skirmishes in the First Crusade. I've just realised this guy's barefoot as well. That's going to be interesting. Okay. I think the next one will probably be green. Ooh. soak that up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we've done red, blue, purple, turquoise, yellow. Let's go with green, and let's have I picked this one up. Karandras green. Let's drop it in. God, are we going for an hour already? Lovely stuff. Right, this is the sort of the more awkward of the models. This is the one who's sort of flying off of it. So there's even more saddlecloth visible on this one. Oh, this is quite bright. I'm going to have to put a shade over this. That's definite. That's going to get some strong tone on it. Wow. So some of you might have seen. The reason I picked this paint up is I had a had a moment of weakness in Games Workshop, and I picked up some the new sort of lizard men things because I just wanted to paint something that didn't have a human face. And I've been working on them. It's just something nice to work on. I don't know. I'm not planning on playing Age of Sigmar or anything like that, and they'll probably find use in one of the many role-playing games I play. And as I say, we're planning on doing some Rangers of Shadow Deep. Hopefully we'll get that on the channel as well. Maybe some Friday, almost like a Friday night gaming, bit more relaxed than say than the battle reports. You know, a bit more of just sitting there, you know, having a beer and playing a bit more casual. But I think Rangers of Shadow Deep was the perfect game to do that with. Right. Ooh. I think that's it. Got him? No, of course not. No, I did miss a spot. There we go. Excellent. Right, I'm gonna put those on one. Hang on, he needs to balance. There we go. You can balance against a pot paint. There we go. Let's close that up for a start because I will knock that everywhere. Let's have a sip of beer and then let's catch up with the comments. So, brushing quill 54mm sounds good. I'm only playing around with it. I've got to change a few things about how I put supports and things like that. You find all the speaker ones to not be as good as actual white paint. See, this is the problem: is that the white just isn't white, is it? You have off whites. So I'll probably be onto it in a minute. I use this scale 75 color here, white sand. I really like this color, so I base it with. So I tend to use white or whatever I'm doing. I then use the Dreadful Visage or the Apothecary White, and then I highlight with this to get sort of an off-white cream. And then if I need to, I have titanium white as an ink. And I can just do some really, really extreme highlights with that. What have we got? What paintbrushes do I use? You need to invest in some humans. So I tend to use just whatever I can get my hands on. To be honest, at the moment I'm using these. These are the Artist Opus Series M brushes. I got bought these for Christmas. And I've looked after them, and I got to say these ones now are brilliant. I've not had an issue with them. I've done all my painting with those, but if I'm just doing sort of everyday sort of base coating and things like that, then I've just got a lot of these. These are, I can't even tell you what these are. What are these? That's a Pro Art one. That's knackered. I don't remember what this one is. This brush. This was just called Brushes for Models. I just picked them up at shows. I just get them on bulk. But these ones here, these Artist Opus Series M ones are really, really nice, especially if you're doing details on eyes and skin and things like that. London prices are steep enough. Absolutely. Hello, Matt. How are you doing, dude? I hope you're well. How's it going? I deal with little big men for the transfers. Yeah, because he did them for the elephants, didn't he? For Victrix. They've got that. They were hell. They were hell to put on. Which of my camel riders is called Omar for the Lawrence of Arabia? That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't. Do you know what? I don't. I'm start. If you've watched the battle reports, you'll see what happens when units get named in my games. They tend to blow up or just not do very well. So at the moment, these camels shall remain nameless. Right. Let me see. So this was the first one we did, which was the. Oh God. There we go. I think we'll do the saddle cloth or the actual cushion. What am I going to do the cushion? Should I do the cushion a different color? Should I contrast it with what I've got? Didn't really think about that. I'm talking about this thing here, this bit. Yeah, why not? I suppose realistically, I need to do it done right. So what I think I'm going to do first is get that paint onto that, and then I will get some paint onto the highlights. So let's have a look. Let's use Talisada. So let's maybe some green actually. Have I got Militarum green? No, Dark Angels green. There we go. That's a good, nice deep green color. That'll contrast well against the red. You can see this is the way I paint most of these forces. It's like what looks good together, and then I look for some vague historic reference. Let's have a look. There we go. Make sure he's got his seat cushion all right. I don't know why I'm so surprised that these were barefoot. There we go. That's what I need to do. Now, green contrasts well with red. Do any of you guys ever use a color wheel? I've used it once or twice in my life just to sort of have a look at what colors go well together and will contrast well before putting it onto the model. I've only done it twice, I think, when I was really struggling to think of what colors to paint something. As Dom says, and if he's still in chat, if you've got uniform guides, it's absolutely fine. But if you're just trying to do something sort of fantastical or just interesting, sometimes you'll find you can just sort of sit and stare at your paint collection and wonder what the hell it is you need to do. Balmat, you've ordered your paints to start Richard's Force for Tewkesbury today. Good man. Good man. Good old Richard. Is it Tewkesbury the one he was wounded at? No, he was wounded at Barnet, wasn't he? Have I got the Series S yet? No, I haven't. No. Hello, dude. Hello, Tim. How you doing, mate? I hope you're well. Hope you're well. Thank you for taking the time to drop in. This takes me back to where my channel started. First thing I did on my channel was the using the contrast paints on the horses. That's the whole reason the channel started. I didn't have any plans for it to do anything particularly. I was just looking for videos online that showed how the contrast paints worked with historical models. That was it. I just wanted to see, because there was loads of orcs and goblins and whatever, and people speed paint, painting a plague zombie thing in seconds, and that was all cool. But I kind of wanted to see people using them on historicals, and so I just got those. I think it was my War of the Roses light cavalry, and I just got them out. And I just painted them, and I remember I balanced my phone on some books, and I had my work phone there with a timer, and all I did was time myself, and then just sort of turn the camera on between sort of painting phases, if you like. That was it. And then I did a couple of Napoleonic ones. I think it was I did the old guard one, and I did the cannon, the guard cannon as well. And they still get comments on them. It's I go back to them. But the funny thing is you do these videos, and obviously I don't. These aren't done professionally at all. I do them because I enjoy them. And I just tend to put up videos about what I'm working on, the games that I'm playing. You get a video back on that, and something like saying, why didn't you use this paint? Because it wasn't out, it wasn't released. Product you're asking for, why not use this? And well, okay, I probably would, but it wasn't available at the time, so I didn't. What contrasts with purple? Orange. Orange looks like it will contrast with purple. Like, this is one of the only speed paints that I own. I don't get on with them at all. The reactivation thing is an issue. It is real. And this is the only one that I like, but it does reactivate. Has this one got a cushion? Oh, yeah, there it is. He's just leaning really far forward. All those ginger beards that you've seen in my videos recently. This was the color. This what is it? Fire giant orange. Is that it? Let's see. Oh no, we can see some around the front. There we go. Well, that was easy. Okay. Down. Let's give this one a red cushion. Red? No, I think we'll go. I'm going to use that dreadful visage that I've been going on about. I even want to say. Even want to say visage. All right. Oh, this should look quite cool. So you can see what I mean here. We've got. Right, let's put this on. It's nice and understated. Cool. There we go. Get this going on. And then we've got to decide how our first Crusade game is going to work. What do you guys reckon is a good scenario for sort of an opening of a campaign? Is it an escort mission, a rescue mission? What kind of thing? Is it a bridge crossing? I quite like a rescue mission personally. I think that might be quite fun, something to do. What have we got here? Have I read any of the Dan Jones books on the Crusade? Oh yeah, I've got one called The Crusade. The problem was once I got past the second Crusade, I stopped listening because it wasn't relevant to what I was doing. And I know, I say I don't know a lot about the Third Crusade, but I've done the Third Crusade I've watched quite a lot of things about it, and everyone knows about it because of Richard and Lionheart. Robin, you use a color wheel app for things like split complementary colors and finding. Yeah, that's it. That's probably the same thing I got. And Rob, you use a color wheel for your old Dalarinx red and yellow brew. It is helpful. Adventures of Miniature Painting. How you doing? Hope you're well. I am having a good day. Hope you are also. I remember how I experimented with basilicanium grey and armor. Yeah, I did. That video, again, that's another one that still gets quite a lot of comments where I just sprayed for like a bunch of guys silver in and used the contrast paints. And I still use that. I use lots of different. The main ones I use are basilicanium grey, Army Painter Strong Tone, which I know isn't a contrast, but I use what I use in the armor. Then for shinier, sort of well-maintained armor, I use Space Wolves Grey because it's got this slightly blue tint to it, and I like the blued armor. Then obviously you get like the black armor for like the German armors and things, which is quite cool. So Black Templar I use on that, and then for bronzing I use Gore Grunter Fur, which is amazing over the top of it, which is very, very cool. A good name for a camel. You bastard, Larder and killed the Raw family. Dan, hello, dude. How are you doing? Hey, Mike. Glad to catch you live and paint along with you all the way over in the centuries. How are you doing, dude? You offer lots of motivation and inspiration. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Well, if you know, thank you for taking the time to drop in. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's as I said before. I just like to sort of share what I'm working on, and I guess you could probably see sort of as the channel's gone on, and I think my painting has changed. The way that I paint, the sort of style I paint in, has changed over the last few years, and so it's interesting. And it's cool to see if people are enjoying it. So thank you. Oh, this is where we were talking about yellow and purple. I did orange. Orange is kind of like yellow. What the hell is what's that? Visage. Wonder if I'm binge watching RuPaul. I don't even know what is that. What's RuPaul? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. That was the first of videos too. It's good fun. Battle mat. There we go. Escort is good. Use some civilian models. No, I had to print them off. Actually, he's done some civilians. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I've got civilians coming. Because I've got some for Rangers of Shadow Deep. Because you've got to have some villagers to rescue and go and do some stuff. So I've actually got some villagers. So yeah, that'd be cool. Hello, buddy. How you doing? How's it going? Morning from New Zealand. He makes the miniatures on the cover. These are from Reconquer Designs. These are 3D printed, so they're the same as the other ones you might have seen on the channel. So he produces them as 3D prints. I get them as STLs and print them, but there are quite a few third-party sellers who sell his stuff now. If you go onto his Patreon page, just type in Reconquer Designs and Patreon into Google, and you scroll to the bottom of sort of the description of his project or of the page of there's a whole list and links to all of the people who have bought commercial licenses and sell them and what country that they're in. So go and have a look if you're interested in sort of getting hold of some of them. These camels are awesome. These are really, really cool. But this small unit will be enough for me. And then I've got some of the Vitrix cavalry to work on. And I'm going to be doing them up as, because you can do them as Arab cavalry, but no one ever does, because you always have them as the Normans. But they come with that shield option, that sort of I don't know what the name for the type of shield is, but it's kind of like an M, like an M shape, like two pieces completely separate. It looks like they should fold. So I'm going to do them. That's my plan. Anyway, now red goes with green. Ask Haley. What am I asking Haley? Oh, RuPaul. Okay. Oh, if I've got to ask Haley, that's a bad thing then. I've got to ask Haley. I won't ask her at the moment. She's having too much fun watching take that. Well, it was. I think it was Will Young originally. Well, he was the support act, and now it's Take That. And they've been supported by, I want to say, like the Sugar Babes or someone. Bless her. She's having a good time. She deserves it. All right. Excellent. Well, this is going well. Oh, wow. Thank you. 68 if you're here. Thank you for taking the time. If you enjoy what you see, there is the like button. Do remember that. But there's also a dislike if you're not. so let us know what you're working on. We've got lots of different things going on. We've got Napoleonics. We've got Crusaders. We've got my Crusaders here in 28. We've got people working on 6 mil. There's Wars of the Roses going on. I know that there's some boats being painted. Sorry, ships. Sorry. I keep on getting in trouble for that. Excellent. Right, that is all of... No, it's not. There we go. That's all of the cushions done. So they're all sitting pretty at the moment. So now I'm doing that. I'm going to highlight up the original saddle colors. So for the red, so this is how you get a pretty good idea of what I'll do. I'll see you later, dude. Take care. I'll be in touch regarding the Napoleonic thing. I'll be in touch. But that week, that day is cool. I will be there. That day is cool in September. So I will have that. I'll have that sorted. Hello, how are you doing? See the crew crowd starting your 18 OPC for 18 figure. Awesome. What are you doing? What are you doing for it? Or is it a secret and you're going to post it? Killer Kriegsman, you're using army painter and game color instead of Citadel for your Krieg this time. It's much more vibrant, but also more Krieg. You do like your Krieg, don't you? I mean, yeah, to be fair, it is your YouTube handle, so I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Baumat, you're painting a Void Dragon for 40k because in euros are finally. What is a Void Dragon? Oh, is it a Necron thing? It's a Necron thing. Okay. I don't really know very much about the Necrons at all. Craig, you're working on some Napoleonic command staff for the Old Guard. First unit ever completed and having them from years. Good man. Miller, boats. This is from a man who spent the week doing a dig at Duxford, surrounded by awesome players he couldn't give a damn, wasted on you. Yeah, okay. So what he's talking about, if you join the chat and you're a little bit late to the stream, essentially, I was working at Duxford this week. For those of you who may or may not know, I'm an archaeologist, and we were doing some work at the Imperial War Museum at Duxford here in the UK, and I was sort of digging away in my trench, and I look up and there was a Spitfire being pulled past, and then a Messerschmitt, and then that's it. They're the two planes I know. I know what a Lancaster is. I know what a Lancaster is, and a Stuka. I know what a Stuka is. And these things were getting dragged past, and I was taking photos of them and sending them to Robin and Miller and just saying, "What's this? What's this?" And it hasn't given me any. I like planes. I like the idea of planes. I just don't have any desire to want to war game with planes. I'll play a board game with them, and if someone else paints pieces, like I played the is it Wings of War, the World War I game with the with the biplanes where you set your maneuvers with cards. That is a brilliant game. That's a fantastic game. So I'm using Evil Sun's Scarlet now to highlight the Blood Angels red. And I use that all the time. And all I'm doing is the contrast paints sort of give you a nice map of where to put your highlights, because you just don't go near the recesses where the paint has pulled, which is essentially the same as washes, but there's more pigment in the contrast paints. But if it's not contrast, I mean, I do water down my contrast. I use the technical contrast medium to do it. I didn't used to, and then I bought some of it just to try it out, and it's night and day the difference. But for these paints, so like layer paints, base paints, I always put them onto my palette, which is just an old tile found somewhere on site, probably in London. And then I'm just going to do, because I used the same color, so I'll highlight it the same way. I used the same one here, so it's still a little bit wet, but it should be fine. It'll be a little bit of wet blending. Be fine. Oh, there we go. I tried out a couple of the Scale 75 paints now, and they're taking some getting used to. A lot of trial and error, but I'm quite pleased with them now. Right, so now I've done that. While the this paint is still wet on my palette, I'm going to add in a little bit of flesh tone when I find it. Where is it? Where's my flesh tone color? Oh, I haven't got it out. Here we go. So I'm going to add in a little bit of dark flesh. There's a nice little highlight. Just a little bit like that. It's going to send it a little bit pinky. But I find the flesh colors give a really nice sort of gradient. But this is going to be quite thin. So it's like a glaze to put over the top. What I'll do is I'll just do again, I'll get this bit done, and here we go, and then I'll come back through the through chat. So what I'm doing here, I'm just picking out the extremes. And then, as I say, I'm going to definitely put some kind of patterns on here, because otherwise it's just a, even if it's just a border of a, you know, sort of a gold lining or something like that around it, it's just interesting. Or stippled little gold spots. See, this area here is quite flat, so there's not much to do. The highlights. I've seen some people do some awesome things to make cloth look like velvet. I haven't tried that yet. Maybe that's something to do. I was saying to Robin and some of the others that because you can print off these camels separately, I could do a whole load of these, and they made quite a nice sort of baggage train of camels. So there we go. So that is now highlighted. Hopefully you can see that. Right. Let's get this one on. Where are we? Here we are. Let's add some up the top here. If you normally tune into the PCP on Monday, it's on my channel this week. I've got an idea for a subject. It was originally going to be we were having doing the great PCP survey, but the software went all funny. I say the software, the website that we do it through just wasn't working properly. It's done something funny to our account. So that's going to be again. So I'll put up the stream and let everyone know what it'll be. I'll get that done tomorrow. But for now, let's just get this done. So I do that now. For the nice sort of regal blue. Where is it? Where is my regal blue? Is it regal blue? Royal blue. I'll pack that away as well. I've gone crazy. I'm sure we all do this. You just think, you know, where is my paint gone? There it is. Oh dear. How are we doing? What time are we on? Oh, it's nearly 10 o'clock. Bloody hell, that's great. Hello, Paul. How you doing, dude? I hope you're well. You're working on. I can't wait to see your Monmouth Rebellion stuff. I really can't. Russian that surprised me too. Quick first Crusade question: were the Byzantine armies still in their dark red burgundy uniforms? Yeah, why not? I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've done mine with lots of dark reds and purples because, again, I associate those colours with wealth. Byzantine Empire seems quite wealthy, and it contrasted well against my Normans. So I've gone for reds and purples. There's quite a lot. We've got frescoes and things. I think if you can look them up, there's a there's a picture of Alexios wearing sort of purple and gold. So yeah, I'll say yes just because it is cool. Jack Todd, how you doing, dude? Painting epic pike and shot. Anyone who has painted any knows that painting the pikes is fun. The musketeers, not so much. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that now from a couple of people. Rob, you're painting epic 1807 French and Russian from the French box. Quality. Robin, the boats go on the ships. Barn. 15 mil Assyrians. Wings of World. Got the War of the Worlds expansion. More Stormcast. One of the big dragons. That's all right. The dragons look cool. I like dragons. Dragons are just cool. You could see the weave. Oh, here. All right, let's get this on for the blue. So this is Royal Cloak by Army Painter. I'm just using a number 1 brush at the minute. I should probably actually go down a brush size at the moment because I'm actually that last one was a little bit of effort. So there we go. All right. I don't use a wet palette. I know other people do. If you've seen some of the videos or the streams, you know I just don't enjoy them. So I suffer. I suffer with a tile. That's my my way of doing things, and I'm sticking to it. Right, let's get some colour up here. I'll stop licking this brush. I stopped doing it for ages and it seemed to have started again. Nope. All right, let's get this on here. I must say it's nice to sit down and get a good painting session in. See, clicked it again. What's wrong with me? I'm looking forward to this today. As Hayley's away and looking after my my daughters, so I took them to the cinema to see what was it? A film about a kraken, but not. It's like about a teenager who can turn into a kraken. And I spent the film basically sitting there planning how I was going to be painting these. They enjoyed it though. I did take them into Games Workshop yesterday because I needed to pick up a couple of these paints, and my youngest decided to try to do some dance moves and then fell headfirst through a sign. I could see the store manager's face, and I think all he could think was lawsuit. She was fine. She's got a thick skull. I was more worried about her knocking over the display for the new Warhammer 40k set that was sort of on top of that table at the time. There we go. So this will bring me up to five small cavalry units. For how many bases have I got? I've got 8, but yeah, 5 small cavalry units for the Seldriks, and then I'll do the sort of heavy cavalry, if you like, as a standard unit for them, so they've got some backup, so they can sit at the back. These guys can ride around harassing the Crusaders, and the other ones can what sort of guys what we got here? Nick Games, when are you going to do a battle report, and what's it going to be, Zulu or medieval? The battle report, well, we should have a battle report next week if all goes according to plan. So it's just been a couple of a few weeks. Well, we had to move, so all my stuff got packed away, so we couldn't obviously do battle reports. And we've got we were having a chat, and the next battle report will be Saga, because we want to finish that little campaign off that we're doing. It makes sense to do it. People have also been asking for it, and then after that, I imagine it'll be medieval. It'll be the Crusades. Now there are some plans for the Wars of the Roses. I'm not going to go into them yet, just in case it doesn't happen. But there should be something cool happening, and I imagine that would probably be in a few months' time. Once I've got a couple of people who just got to build up a couple of things for it. So, but there are plans for the Wars of the Roses, and it's something quite cool actually, which I think people are gonna enjoy. And Zulus. The Zulus, I have got plans for now. Zulus, I think I'm quite close. I think if I do another 3 units of Zulus, which will bring me to 6 main sort of, if you like, big blocks of Zulus, and then I've got a whole load of skirmishers. That's enough from the Zulus to have a good game. And against, say, I've got 1 unit of British line at the minute, plus a naval brigade, plus some artillery. So I think if I can get about 4 units of foot and maybe 1 mounted unit of the British, so they are outnumbered, then I think we can have a good game. I think we could have a good game. It'll be quite small, but it could be quite fun. It'll be an ambush scenario. Zulus did like ambushing them. If you saw the video about the naval brigade, I talked about the ambush at the Niezine River, and so we could do something like that. That would be quite cool. There we go. Those highlights done. I'm getting there. I don't think I'm going to have these done by Monday. I think that might have been wishful thinking. Okay, so it's done. Now I've got the other blue, so I need to mix some ultramarine. Where is it? Where's that ultramarine? There it is. It's gone. Let's have a look at that. I'll see you later, Cal. Sorry, mate. I probably missed you, but I hope you have a lovely evening and rest of the weekend. Killer Crease, man, you've almost finished up. Finished 4 infantry today. Bit of a slog because it's Hammer Big Mud. Oh, no. Nick, I really enjoy your battle reports. The mostly funny moment one of your Piker shot games is when your friends pull up the rule book like 2 policemen giving you a speeding. Yes, that was the. I think are we talking about when my cannons exploded, and they took great pleasure in that. That last pike and shot game we had where Miller. I mean, he did suffer in that. I did feel, but I did. He'll probably deny this, but I did feel bad when we were playing. I did start checking everything because I get a bit weirded out when I start winning. Something confusing, but yeah, that game. But it's just the way the dice, the rules that we were playing with were exactly the same rules that we've been using in all our other games, and it just goes to show it is obviously just the way the dice come up. Paul, so Hugh Persh was Ely, I think. Oh, you talk about the Barons War, the Barons War stuff. Excellent. Well, I've really enjoyed doing this tonight. I hope it's been enjoyable. Thank you for taking the time to keep me company. I'm going to get these saddle cloths and cushions finished. Whack a base coat on the actual. There's some wood just here. And I want to get that base coated as it was, and then I'll probably call it an evening. So I reckon I'll probably go to 10:30. Sorry, Don. And then I'm gonna go probably watch a film. I'm gonna go watch the Alamo again. Get some. No, maybe I don't need other projects. I do seem to start. I've worked out. I tend to start one new project each year. So last year I started the Zulu stuff. Year before that, the Crusader stuff. Year before that, I can't remember what it was. The year before that, there might have been a gap. Wars of the Roses was a little while before. So I am interested in the Mexican-American War, I have to say. The more I read about it, the more I think that could be some quite fun to do. Let's add in a little bit of white and do some extreme highlights. David Martin, what lord for my Galaglass? He's Yorkist, your guy, isn't he? Who would be a good Yorkist? You need to stick in with someone who is fit. So the way I would do it, and this is just if it was me, is that the Duke of York, Richard, Duke of York, he was the Lord Lieutenant of Ireland. In fact, George, the second son after Edward, so in fact the third son, because I always forget about the one that the Lancastrians killed, he was born in Ireland. So I would find one who is quite loyal to Richard, Duke of York, and probably put him in command. I can't really think of a Yorkist one off the top of my head. Someone in the chat may be able to help. I'd be able to tell you one if I could get it all my reference stuff, which is all up there at the moment. But I just want to have a look here. Give me if you can't find one, give me a shout, and I will have a look in my stuff, see if I can find one for you. Okay, so he's done. Oh, purple. Where's my purple paint? Where's my purple paint? I have one purple, and I can't find it. Well, I have Magos purple, and then I have the thing I use as like a base coat and highlights, and I can't find it. Where is it? It's in here. I've got paints all over the place. Yep, there it is. I have got this one, which is just purple. Just purple. Right, let's have a look. Am I looking forward to the Napoleon film coming out at the end of it? Yeah, I like Ridley Scott. I like Ridley Scott films. So I'll look forward to that. I really enjoyed The Last Duel, the one that's on Disney, on the Disney Channel. Disney Channel. Excuse me. Disney Plus. It's on there, which is all about the duel over this bloke's wife, set during the 100 Years' War, and it got a bit slammed. I mean, there's some things in it that are a bit stupid, like oh Jesus, the helmets, in the duel where they've only got like half a visor, and you're just thinking, what are you doing? But I enjoyed that film, and he's done some really quality films in the past. So yeah, I will watch it. Look at that. What see? Look again. Can you see here how he's got the rope running underneath that saddlecloth? That's so cool. That's that attention to detail. So yeah, I'll watch it, and it's got some good actors in it. So now I don't know how historically accurate it's going to be. Obviously, I imagine there's been some interpretation in there. The thing is, as well, you know, they said, oh, it's going to have an epic runtime, and then I looked at the runtime, and it's 2.5 hours, which is about average. How many battles are they really going to get in? I imagine there's going to be like 2. And are they going to do Waterloo? I imagine they'll do Austerlitz, won't they? Do Austerlitz when they do Waterloo? I suppose they've got to do something from Waterloo, but they won't show. They won't be like the film Waterloo, will it? I mean, you know, that's the whole film dedicated to a single battle. I hope they get the uniform. I know this sounds a little bit silly, but I hope they get the uniforms and things right. There's so much information that they can use, and so many reenactment groups that they could use. I'm still waiting for someone to come and do a good Wars of the Roses film that isn't just based on the whole Richard III thing and sort of the usurpation. We shall see. One day. You keep blaming me, Martin. What now? But it's your fault. I keep listening to the people profiles and listen to the entire Plantagenet Kings documentary. Sorry, it's a good series. The Plantagenet's a race. You don't need soap operas when you've got this absolutely manic royal family. You know, the Plantagenets are insane. I think the most common cause for a Plantagenet death is when a relative bumps them off. So what I'm doing at the minute is I'm just highlighting, because then all of this stuff is done, and really it looks, once I've done here it's the man, you've got to realize, so the men are just going to be sort of single colors really, because most of them are just wearing robes. So that's not going to be too hard. Now, how the hell am I going to do this green? I have a good green actually. So I've got it's my big tub of paints. I find quite handy to have out of the drawer, so I can just pick it up like this, because inevitably the paint I want isn't there. Remake of Waterloo is on your wish list. Can you remake Waterloo? I really like that film. He did do a good job. The Duelist is a brilliant film. Robin, yes, that's true. There will be a really good director's cut, and that's the same. I think that about Kingdom of Heaven. Again, it's got some historical issues with it, but I saw Kingdom of Heaven in the cinema, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I was so disappointed. I was in university as well. I remember me and my then girlfriend went to see it, and we were both so cheesed off afterwards. So yeah, that was a bit of a bust, that film. But then the director's cut came out, and that was fantastic. It's about an hour and a half longer, isn't it? Something like that. I know it's over 2 discs. Yeah, I still need to put some strong tone over this. I think I need to dull that green right down. All right, let's get that one on here. How are we doing for time? 1/4 of an hour. That'll be enough. I think I've got everything. Oh no, let's get right. So those of you who were a bit earlier, this is what I was talking about. So I've used this Bad Moon Yellow, this color here, and it comes out, as you see. It's really good if you want a yellow. Really good. Can you see? Just block yellow. Really nice coverage. Really good. One coat, that is. But can you see how there's no shading at all? So what I do is I use a bit of this Iandan yellow, but I basically water it down. Oh, not with water though. I use my technical contrast medium. Let's have a look. While I mix this up. BBC did a good one. What, Waterloo? Oh no, you're not talking about that stupid. No, you're talking about that sky thing, aren't you? On the Wars of the Roses. That's what you're talking about, aren't you? Or am I slandering you there, Matt? You're talking about that thing called Royal Bastards, aren't you? That was horrendous, horrific hatchet job on the Wars of the Roses. That was some of the worst television I've ever seen. Peter Jackson could make a good water. That would be awesome. Martin, is a hospital in Kingdom of Heaven an angel? A lot of theories around it. So yeah, I saw that. I think it's quite fun to say that he is. I quite like that idea. I don't know. Is Ridley Scott ever talked about it? I think the actor, because it's David. Is it Fuel? Is that how you pronounce his name? He's come out, I think, and actually said that in his opinion it is an angel. There's a video somewhere on YouTube where someone's actually put all his scenes together, and you can see who he interacts with, and I think someone said he only interacts with sort of a set number of people. Anyway, I think he is. I mean, have you seen? I quite like the way that that's interpreted. It reminds me of Pale Rider with Clint Eastwood. So you've got this sort of angel manifest, helping the. So there we go. Look. So you see, because I've sort of thinned that down with the technical contrast medium, it's gone into the recesses, but it's still kept that really vibrant color. If I'd have put this on straight, and I did this before, it just completely wipes it out, and it makes the whole thing sort of pointless and sort of soul destroying. All right, one more color to go. And I bet it's good. I've got my paints are spread so far at the minute. There it is. Sorry, I've got a lot of boxes around here at the minute because, as I said, I'm getting ready for the miniatures to go out. So I've got boxes that contain boxes. I've got boxes with bags, boxes with little cards in, boxes with stickers in them, and then that shelf up there is just full of minis at the minute, which are the ones I'll be sending out hopefully. Don't Sharp's Waterloo. Don't I love Sharp. I think about Sharp really, really fondly. I've got a lot of respect for Sharp as a property, but I can't watch that episode anymore. And it's all just because of doing the gaming and learning more and more and more about the Battle of Waterloo, and then watching that episode. I just can't. They're even coming. I think it's even when you realise they're coming like La Haye Sainte is sort of the wrong way round. Silly things, I know. Yeah, that's it. His head is in the pile, isn't it? Yeah. That's just his earthly show. It's getting deep. It's getting deep on the painting stream on a Saturday night. Let's get philosophical about it. I like that idea that he is an angel and that's his earthly shell and he's in his manifest. I like that. I think that's quite a cool sort of interpretation. Let's go with that. I like it. Hey, until he comes out and says otherwise. Aren't they making a prequel or a sequel to Gladiator? I'm sure I've read that somewhere, that's actually now happening. It's been bandied around for years, but of course Russell Crowe's getting older and older and older and more sort of, how should we say, less Maximus-like. And it was meant to be, I think, originally like a prequel about his time and how he became a general. So I think now it's going to be a sequel dealing with the direct aftermath, I guess. But it seems, I don't know how they're going to do it, because obviously they changed history quite a bit in it. So yeah, how are they doing that one? All right, let's have a... Well, I'm really pleased with how this has gone tonight. So I'd just like to say again, thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully I have another video up soon, which will be the command-based video. That's the next one. And then if we get our battle report next week, then after that we'll have Saga. And then I guess after that, anyone's good. I have got videos, I've got updates to do. It's kind of hard sometimes to think when to do a project update, because I could do a project update after every single unit, which would mean that I would be putting them out quite a lot, really, every time I do one. But I like having a few units to talk about. I think that's more fun. So I dare say there'll be a Crusade one, which will include some of the, the heavy infantry and these camels. And I mean, have you seen the models he's released this month? And we were talking about them earlier. And so those infiltrators, I mean, they're gonna go into our game. I don't know how we're going to use them, but they're going to get used. It'd be a crime. I was about to say a criminal. That's something else. Not to use them. So I'm just putting in some extreme yellow highlights just to out some colours. Well, I really enjoyed doing this, so I'll definitely try and do another. I won't leave it as long. Now I know that this setup works as well with the two cameras. Be cool if I can get if I can get someone else on to just sort of chat and paint. Not like an interview or anything like that, just having someone here to chat with as well as you guys, and I will. Remember to come check out the PCP on Monday, which will be on this channel. Everything, working and willing, and hoping that no one gets ill or anything like that in the meantime. And then I'll put out the announcement when those miniatures are available for everybody. And then we'll see how things go, really, from there. Let's see. 5 minutes. Let's get the wood. Let's get the wood done on the saddles, and then that's done. And the camels are pretty much done. We've got a bit of flesh to do on their muzzles, which is the same way I paint horses, and I've approached that in a similar way here. All right, let's get these done. Let's have a look. You think the Russian are in the issue with Russell Crowe? Crowley says Maximus wastes. I believe Gladiator 2 is about the young boy in the first one. Oh, Commodus's nephew, yeah. Oh, Dave and Gray, hello, dude. How you doing? Afternoon, bud. Love your value, especially when you play against your wife. Just so cute when she decimates you. Cheers. Yeah, I don't find it cute. She enjoys it. She enjoys it. Thank you for popping in. Nick Russell Crowe, Steven Seagal, and Gladiator 2. Oh, okay. Jesus. Reimagine. Killer Greaseman. Should I put up some pictures on the PCP of my inventory when I'm done? Yeah, go for it. Of course. Absolutely. No, let's not get wood. All right, yeah, it's the wrong type of stream, dude. Wrong type of stream. Imagine trying. I haven't been invaded, but that does very well. I haven't been invaded by bots for a while. And we haven't on the PCP either. I didn't really. Yeah, it's been a while since the bot, the automated bots have come along and tried to get us. You watch it now on Monday, we'll get absolutely flamed by it. Sorry, I don't know if you can see this on the screen at the minute. Sorry, there's some little details that I'm trying to pick out. As you can see, this is kind of wooden board at the back of the saddle. All right, let's get this on here. Well, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend, no matter what it is you're doing, even if it's work. I hope you're not working, but not everyone has the luxury of being able to be at home. How's everyone got on with their painting tonight? Have you managed to get through it? Have you achieved what you wanted to achieve? I don't know what I thought this was going to. I don't know why I thought I'd be able to get all of these done for Monday. I mean, maybe I will. Maybe I'll get some stuff done tomorrow, but it'll probably mean just ignoring my children for an entire day, and I don't think that's going to happen. On there. There we go. It's nearly done. No, this one's got like a leather breastplate or something on. It's interesting. This one's got loads of details, actually. Probably no surprise it is, given who sculpted it. There we go. So after this, it's just the men and some of the finer details on the camels. Excellent. So hang on, let me just put this one on. I'll catch up with the chat. Let's see where we are. Oh. Last one. So actually, you see this here, where this the rain comes on. So that's separate. You actually hoop it over that sort of nubbin that I'm painting brown there. I'll tidy this up in a minute. So where I'm getting the brown paint over the green and that, I'll tidy all that up. And she hoop that over it and gives it somewhere to lock. There we go. I am very, very pleased. Oh, and tails. I meant to do tails the same sort of woody brown colour. I was going to use Gorgrunt fur, but it's not going to make a lot of difference because this is all watered down. Let's get this one out. How are we doing? Nearly there, guys. So let's get the tails done. Oh. There we go. Let's put that on there. Oh, something just made a cracking noise as I did that. It's not good. I think it was me, not the model. Like I said, I really didn't appreciate the size difference between camels and horses until I did this. I guess as well, these guys are going to be a fairly big target on the battlefield, so this should be interesting. All right. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to call it a night on those there. I've achieved... Well, I think I just underestimated how much there was. How is everyone doing in the chat? Let's have a look. Double dip. I think the sequel is Russell Crowe playing the cannibal who eats Caesar and his wife, who shows no remorse. Glad he ate. I like that. Matt, you made some progress. Your wife is out tomorrow, though, so you might get finished. Excellent. And then stick them up in a group and we'll get them on the stream on Monday. Steve, your base coats are down and wash is on, so yes, mission accomplished. Paul, got some highlights done on the Somerset Militia Deserts, and I can't wait to see that game, dude. I'm really looking forward to it. Lionheart, almost completed, just flesh to do, the dreaded flesh. Killer Kriegsman, I'm painting gas mask lenses on copper on rifles. We're nearly done. Oh, that sounds brutal. It really does sound brutal. Well, guys, anyway, thank you for taking the time to join me. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed hanging out with you. So take care of yourselves, won't you? As I say, stay tuned on the channel. There's going to be lots of things that are going to be coming up. I'll post up about the miniatures. I'm going to do a whole video on them. I will. We've got the stream on Monday. I'll try and do another one of these again soon. Like I said, she's going away on Wednesday, so if I get my work done, I might do another one to see how things going. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you all again soon. Unlike the PCP, I don't have an outro. So this, I guess, this will probably just cut off. So you all take care of yourselves and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.